I'll be honest. I think this topic's a little soft because I don't think there's a lot of options. I mean, who can you make an argument for best number 2 wide receiver? And by the way, it's not number 2 like we're making a fantasy football list and it's the guys 13 through 24. It's the second best receiver on the particular NFL team.
So you saying the best 1As? That's what you're looking for?
Basically.
One name came to mind for me.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
That's the first name that came to mind.
Fabulous second choice.
Waddle and Higgins. It's Tee Higgins and Waddle.
Is there any other argument? Who else can you make an argument for? Chris Godwin, maybe? Devontae Smith, Philadelphia?
Devontae Smith he's in
I'm
that
sure we got
category.
Cam in Canada right now saying Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Hey, listen, that DPJ boy, hey, you talk about the people's champ. DPJ can do no wrong.
No. By the way, Cam in Canada was apoplectic. Did you guys also pick Justin Herbert over Deshaun Watson yesterday?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there, honestly, Jason, you know the league better than anybody, is there a single team in the NFL that you think would take, including the Browns, would take Deshaun Watson over Justin Herbert right now?
I think you'd all take Herbert. Every one
Now,
of them.
obviously, the off the field is a big part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's got to be factored in the
Yes.
game we were playing yesterday.
Yes.
And if this was 2 years ago with Deshaun Watson coming off another great season,
It'd be a different conversation.
it'd be a different story.
And
Now,
I do think that I love Justin Herbert. I think he's fantastic. But I do have to say, like, what's he done?
Well, but
what's he done?
Both of them are in that category.
Yes.
Deshaun has 1 playoff win, and Herbert has 0.
Yeah.
And his team choked like a dog.
So hold on. This is a decent question. Now that I go in my head and I think about it, I think Tyler Lockett is a good number 2 receiver behind DK Metcalf.
Okay, that's another guy.
You got Mike Williams.
All right, well, this topic's picking up. We got
You
some
got
other
Mike
options
Williams
here.
out there with the Chargers. Mike Williams.
Oh, Mike Williams, yeah.
You also there's
All right, those you could make arguments for all those guys.
you could Hollywood Brown. Is DeAndre Hopkins or Hollywood
I
Brown?
think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be
You're
on the
losing steam,
Cardinals.
G.
Yeah. look. Hey, I ain't say it was 10 of them. It might be 4 and a possible. Now there's a couple guys you can say that, right?
Yeah, there's some arguments here.
Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
I'll take Carl Pickens. Remember Carl Pickens?
Tennessee?
Or Houston.
Tennessee.
No,
University of Tennessee.
Bengals. But he played for the Bengals.
Yeah,
Carl
but he went to
Pickens.
University of Tennessee.
Yeah,
I was thinking about
college.
Ernest Givens. Same, it rhymed.
Oh,
It was
Ernest
rhymed,
Givens.
yeah.
All right, so who you picking? Who's your guy?
I forgot his name, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah,
1,300 yards last year is the number 2 behind. They brought in Tyreek, and his production went up. His yards went up. Jalen Waddle.
Crazy.
They have 2 number 1s. Like, it's almost a cheat code because he's really a number 1.
And they fast, both of them, and they be running past people. I think it's
So if you're
very
starting
close.
a team with all the second best receivers in the NFL, you're taking Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would take Tee Higgins second and Devontae Smith third.
See, I'm taking Tee Higgins, and here's why.
You're a homer.
First of all,
Honk.
I mean, statistically, over the last, I'll just do the last 2 years because Higgins has been in the league 1 year longer. If you look at the last 2 years combined, Jalen Waddle has a few more yards than Higgins, but not significantly. I think it's like 100 more yards over 2 years. They have, I think, basically the same amount of touchdowns.
Okay.
They both play, obviously, with an elite number 1 wide receiver. Now, in fairness, the Bengals do have a better quarterback, significantly better. Dolphins have no running game. Bengals don't run the ball that much. But ultimately, the tiebreaker for me, because they're both great. I mean, they're both fantastic. Tee Higgins is 6'4".
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle's 5'10". I just feel like Tee Higgins is going to hold up better over the long term. If I'm starting a team, now Waddle's faster than Tee Higgins, but Higgins is fast enough.
Yeah.
Higgins can run any route. He's got amazing hands. He is a massive body, massive. And I love having those big receivers. So ultimately, that would break the tie for me.
18.1 a catch. What is Higgins per catch?
He was like 14. Higgins missed a couple of games this year. How many games did Higgins play this year? I'm talking about how durable, but he missed a couple of games. How many games did he miss? Just one?
1 second.
Waddle was injured, but I don't think he missed too
Well,
many.
Higgins, that's misleading. Because there was a game.
Bills game, does that count?
Right. But how many games did he actually play?
It says 16.
But he didn't really, because there was the game against the Browns. He didn't
Yeah.
play. Or he played one play, I think.
Hey, they're very close. I'll say
So that's 2 less games because they didn't play in that. They didn't play that Bills game.
if you get either one of them, are you gonna be mad?
No.
it's like it's a clean wash.
So
Like,
I think we'd all agree those guys are the top two.
Yes.
So who's the third choice? So you got
Devontae.
You mentioned Lockett. You mentioned Mike Williams, Chris Godwin. I would take Devontae Smith as the third guy because he's the youngest of those guys.
Devontae Smith is.
I would say that maybe Chris Godwin is the best of those players, but he's had a couple of injuries. I think he tore. What did he tear 2 years ago? His knee or his. Devontae. Well, that's even better numbers than I thought.
That's crazy. That's 1,200.
I would take Devontae Smith third.
That's a nice.
I mean those
95 catches. That's
tough. That's tough.
Man, those are the three best wide receiver combos, right?
And just think about it. The Eagles run the ball. That's cheating. They got
That's true.
A.J. Brown and they got Devontae Smith, and he get 100 catches, and they're a running team.
Yeah, they are. You know, and a lot of it was Jalen Hurts.
That's cheating.
But yeah, they're a running team.
That's why when I always go back and when I go back and watch the Browns, I just sometimes we get into is it this or that? And I'm like, no, you got to be just good everywhere. Like, you have to run the ball. The quarterback has to be good. You got to have receivers. You got to have tight ends. I just think, man, that's a very close one. Mike Williams is hurt a lot. I can't go with him.
That's true. He's inconsistent, too.
He's very inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
I had him on a fantasy team a
right?
couple years
Like,
ago.
he has some games where he's like 7 for 120 and 2 touchdowns, and then the next game he'll
2
go
for 16.
Yeah, and you're like, what happened?
Did you play?
He's big too. Like he's really big.
Yeah.
But
I don't think of any. Well,
so which pair are you taking? Are you taking A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, or Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins? Factor in age, not contract, but if you had to take one of those duos.
As a pair, I would probably take the Bengals over Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I would probably take Higgins and Jamar.
Yeah.
What?
I hate to leave out Justin Jefferson, but they don't. Who's their second receiver?
They don't really
now?
have a number 2.
they had
Thielen, but he's gone.
He fell off.
And he fell off and he left.
Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase missed some time, so
He did miss a couple games last year. He missed like 4 games, I think, 4 or 5 games. He got hurt.
Tyreek. Do you have Tyreek Hill number in there?
No, but I can pull it up really quick.
Tyreek Hill. I think he had. How many yards he have? 1,700. Oh,
1,700. He's off camera and off mic, so
17.
Mike
heard
said
his scream.
1,700
Yeah.
for those who can't hear him.
I couldn't see no more.
How old is Tyreek Hill?
1,700.
29, just turned 20.
he had 17 and Waddle had 14.
Yeah, it's
13,
amazing.
14.
Did he? How many touchdowns? Okay, how many catches?
With a mediocre
He had
quarterback.
119 catches.
Hey, listen, you can't go wrong. I would take
Either pairing.
I think in the end you take Chase and Higgins because the 3 duos are pretty close, and those guys are the youngest combo. But I mean, it's hard to pick against Tyreek Hill and Waddle. He is 29. I didn't realize that. As good as he is, not too much longer before he goes off the cliff. It happens for almost every guy.
Who are we talking about, Tyreek?
Tyreek, 29.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamar Chase is what, 24?
I would, man. I don't. I'm glad.
hard.
I'm glad you.
I think you also have to factor in that Tua had way less of a career this year than Burrow did. So those two hit those yardage with their quarterback being injured.
Yeah.
Well,
like
yeah,
Tua was out of a lot of games. Like, man,
and their
tough.
quarterback's not as good, even when he is not injured.
That is tough.
That's fair.
I would lean. I don't know. I see Jamar Chase do some crazy stuff. I'd probably lean towards the Dolphins, but once again, I couldn't be mad because Jamar Chase is that good. He's a better player to me than Tyreek Hill. But I mean, 1,700. Good.
Yeah,
gracious.
man, that's a tough
I
call.
mean, that's hard. So, yeah. No mention of DPJ and Amari Cooper, or what we doing?
No. Would you even take Amari Cooper over any of those number 2 receivers?
No.
Right?
And I like Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I'm taking Higgins, Devontae, especially if you factor in age.
Okay.
Higgins, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, taking them all over Amari Cooper.
I would take him over Tyler Lockett.
No, I'm just talking about just those 3 guys.
Okay, well, we talk about like as
You said no, and then you
well,
hesitated for a
because
second.
I was thinking the Bengals duo and the Dolphins duo. I wasn't thinking Devontae Smith. I think it's close between Amari Cooper and Devontae Smith.
But if you factor in age, you just
if it's age,
yeah.
then
Without
it's a no-brainer.
age, I'd still take all 3.
There's-
Even if I don't factor in age, I'd still take all 3 over Cooper.
Probably.
But it's close. I mean, he's right in that group. Amari Cooper's somewhere between the 13th and 24th best wide receiver.
That's fair.
Somewhere in that group.
So what you saying? He got an elite number 2 status.
Yeah, I mean, in the if you want to say, well, are there 32 number 1 wide receivers? No, there are not. I think Amari Cooper, in the grand scheme of things, is a mid-tier number 1 wide receiver. That's what I think he is.
Okay.
But so are those 3 guys,
Right.
who are number 2s on their team. But
Well,
they're really.
I think Waddle's a number 1. I think he was a number 1, and then they just went and found a better
No, I'm
number
saying
1.
he's a
and put him over
mid-tier
top.
number 1 wide receiver.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's also he's higher than Cooper. Well, I mean, Higgins and Waddle are probably somewhere between 8 and 14, 8 and 13, right?
Yeah,
Both of them.
I would put them because there's only a couple receivers everybody's a top 10 person until you put them in the top 10, until you start naming.
Until you
them.
start.
And then you be like, okay,
filling it
well,
up. Okay.
Stephon Diggs,
Well,
Cooper
and let's
Kupp.
not base it you don't want to base it just on last year's stats.
Yeah,
But let's think of guys we think are top 10 wide receivers.
Jefferson.
So
Jefferson.
Chase, Cooper Kupp, even though he got
Kupp,
hurt last year.
Stephon Diggs.
Devontae Adams.
I would say, what's the name? The other Eagles receiver.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown.
DK Metcalf. That's 7. Let's add in, Tyreek Hill. I don't even think we
Tyreek
said.
Hill.
Yeah.
8. We're not doing that in order. It's just 8.
So he's just not in
Okay, so
order.
that's 8 right there. So then you still have Waddle, Hill, Devontae Smith at best 9,
Did we
10,
get
and
Jamar
11.
in those 8? You named Jamar.
Yeah, we
in
named
those
Jamar.
8.
Yes.
T. Higgins has to come at some point.
Right. Those 3 guys, those 3 number 2s, or maybe 9, 10, and 11. We're probably forgetting 1 or 2 other guys. Is DeAndre Hopkins still up there? I don't think so. I think he's just below that. Amari Cooper's just below that.
I wouldn't say anybody from the Ravens or the Steelers is in
Nobody,
that
no,
mix.
not yet. Not yet.
Pickens will be.
He will, though.
Who's the
Colts, no.
Let's look at the
Texans, no.
Patriots don't have anybody.
No.
Jets. Who's their best receiver?
Garrett Wilson.
but
Garrett
he's-
Wilson's
he's-
in that next group.
he's
right.
creeping.
He's in that. He's got to do it more than 1 year.
Right.
He's in that 12 to 20 group also.
Yeah.
He's moving up. Chris Olave is
CD,
in the back end of the 12 to 20,
C-
but he's not in the top 12 yet.
CD Lamb.
Oh,
Terry
CeeDee Lamb.
McLaurin, we tripped.
Yeah,
Terry McLaurin and
yeah.
CD
Both those guys. I think McLaurin. I don't know that McLaurin is better than Higgins and Waddle. He's right there. They're right there in the same group. C.D. Lamb's better though. C.D. Lamb goes top 10.
Yeah.
I think. He's number 9 in our definite top 10. And we forget anybody, Mike? Why are you laughing over there?
Definitely. Like DK, did we say DK Metcalf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said him. I mentioned him.
And then you got
49ers. Nah, nobody top 10. Debo's really good, but he's not top 10. said Devontae.
I mean, Debo Samuel is
He's in that next
very.
group. I think he's 15 to 20. He's hurt every year.
plays
He's hurt
running
every
back.
year. I'm on Ross St. Brown, not yet. He's 15 to 25.
Devontae Adams.
I've said Devontae Adams. I said Devontae
So
Adams.
Devontae Adams, then you got Devontae Smith.
I would say Jalen Waddle and Tee Higgins are 10 and 11, I think. And then probably Devontae Smith, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin are right there in your top 15.
To be truthful, I would have to put. I don't even count. I don't count Kelsey as a tight end no more. He's a
Well,
receiver.
he is a tight end.
I mean, if you said, hey,
if I lined him up with the receivers, I mean, he's old.
if you lined him up with the receivers, I
probably-
would argue he would be a top 10 target if he was. If you just said, hey, there's Kelsey.
Oh yeah, no
Sure.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yes. What's that?
Yeah, we got him.
I
got
mentioned
Cooper
Cooper
Kupp.
Kupp. Yeah.
Yeah, we got him.
Odell doesn't get into the top 20, not anymore.
No.
He'll be lucky if he's in 21 to 30.
No. Well, now I guess he counts as a. If you would have asked somebody, will Odell Beckham Jr. be a number 1 receiver anymore? And guess what?
You getting paid like it.
Well, I mean,
Technically, he's a number 1 receiver now, right?
You got who's the best receiver on the Jaguars? I mean, Calvin Ridley hasn't played in 2 years.
Christian
Kirk's.
Kirk.
I mean, Kirk's in that. He had a good year. He's probably around 20, early 20s, late teens.
You mentioned Calvin Ridley. That's a very.
He's going to be an interesting one to see
he's
because he was an
very
up-and-comer,
interesting.
but he hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah, very interesting.
So, are we forgetting anybody in the chat? Is the chat mentioned anybody? We give PCC a little shout-out for the chat?
So we did actually put up a poll in the chat, and
Yeah.
whenever we talk to the chat, we talk to them through PCC.
Yeah.
Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio, and all locations in PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So we asked them, out of the top 4 that we were talking about, Smith, Waddle, Higgins, and Godwin, who the chat would go to. It was undeniably Waddle, 55%. Tee Higgins coming in at second with 26%. Smith coming in at 12% and 5% for Godwin. The chat is with you guys.
The chat is with me
you too.
2 days in a row. I'd like to thank the
Well, you
Academy.
and G.
I'd like to thank my agent. I'd like to thank Steve Becker for giving me this opportunity. 2 days in a row. The chat is with me.
Hey, I'll tell you what. No, the chat is killing us on this one, though. Be More
which one?
Ravens. Gunny says, Debo, we miss him. Look how many people kept saying
Debo's not in the top 15.
John Baldwin, Debo. Logan
Baldwin?
Yeah, isn't he?
Oh.
This is people in the chat. But John
top 15. Debo's not a top
Doug
10.
Baldwin was a receiver.
Yeah. But
Hey, but
Debo's not top 10.
Logan Anderson, Debo. Only
No.
one Zay, Debo. We definitely forgetting him.
You're
Kenny
wrong.
Miller, Debo. It sounds like I'm talking about a Friday movie. So many Debos in here.
Yeah, right.
Whoa, hey, Demond and Marcel. I don't know. DJ Moore. What is a DJ Moore?
Oh, DJ Moore. I mean, he's not top 10.
Is he a number?
Yeah, I mean, he's around, I'd say 15 to 20, probably.
And by the way,
He's in the conversation with McLaurin and Cooper and all those guys.
Scissor 429 says
Yeah.
AJ Brown is being disrespectful. I'll give you that. AJ Brown should
We
be
mentioned him
in
in the top 10.
He's in the top 10.
We have AJ Brown in the top 10. What do you mean?
He's
He's in the top 10.
He's a lower top 10 though.
All right, I'm bored. Let's talk about something else.